Introduction. The letters that I began to receive after publications on my system for increasing growth appeared on the pages of newspapers and magazines prompted me to start writing this book. Desperation and hope are merged in these letters. Help me grow. Here are typical cases. I'm already 16 years old and I'm only 152 centimeters tall. Are there really no exercises that would accelerate growth? I am the smallest in the class, and they laugh at me. My height is 168. This is not enough for a good basketball player. I dream of becoming as big as my father. Acceleration is for everyone, and I am small. Is this fair? I love one girl very much, and she is taller than me. Help. My husband and I are tall, and both children, son and daughter, were born and grow up small. I take this calmly, but my husband is angry that the children are not in him. The pediatrician says that the children are normal and can't explain why to neither the mother nor the father. If this is genetics, then why is it so manifested? The husband has been playing sports with his son for a year, but he did not grow faster. One coach advised giving his son growth stimulants. He says that they are harmless to health, but we are afraid. To whom should we turn to examine children and prescribe medications necessary for growth if it is harmless? At first glance, this may seem strange because body length does not apply to indicators that are of vital importance. Nevertheless, interest in growth is not raised by chance. It has long been associated with health and physical strength. Normal growth has always been equivalent to the idea that a person with health is all right. The higher the person, the lower the risk of heart failure. This conclusion was made by scientists of Boston. Men taller than 170 centimeters are more susceptible to heart disease than those who are at least 15 centimeters taller. For the former, the probability of illness is 70%. And every 2.5 centimeters of growth reduces this probability by 3%. This book is addressed primarily to young people. However, many of the information and advice set forth in it can be used by people of advanced age. The proposed system for increasing growth is based on our own many years of experience, as well as on the materials of specialists in the field of medicine, hygiene, and psychology. It is quite affordable. Practically everyone who is not forbidden by doctors to engage in general physical training can apply the advice. The proposed physical exercises can be performed always and everywhere, even at school during breaks at work, on vacation, with friends, during classes with any form of mass physical culture. They are effective in the classroom, but in various sports. The duration of classes is chosen by the students themselves, depending on their condition and mood. Everyone can be convinced of accessibility and benefit of our technique on their own experience. A little history. I was 11 years old. I walked around my native Berdichev and the noise in the stadium caught my attention. It turns out that there was a championship in jumping among school children. Before my eyes, Valery Skvortsov, a famous athlete in the future, overcame the bar at a height of 1 meter 95 centimeters. Skvortsov's jumps just struck me. I was thrilled, shocked. That night I couldn't fall asleep. I imagined everything. I wish I could jump like that myself. And I firmly decided I should enroll in a group for high jumps at all costs. The next day, he joined the group of a well-known trainer, honored trainer of the Soviet Union, Vitaly Alexeyevich Donskoy, but he did not take me at first. Probably too small then. I had to wait a year. And finally, the day came when I got to the school of jumpers. Now I understand how lucky I am. It was my fate that decided. I began to go to training. I was happy, not to pass it. Then Lonsky said that usually newcomers are somehow shy, do not know what to do, go idle, and I immediately set the bar in my corner, put down the mats and jumped. I'm jumping all the time, jumping. My results started to grow rapidly. When he joined the group, his personal record was 1m 20 centimeters, and after a year already 1m 75 centimeters, the second adult category. But there's a hitch. Good 2 years, not a single centimeter of increase to achieve. All my peers have already overtaken me. How I grieved. Well, he did come to despair. In the end, he decided to ask Donskoy, why is this happening that I can't jump higher? And he answers me, you are small. Growth did not come out. You just need to grow up to jump higher. And at that time, I was 164 centimeters tall, and I have not grown for 2 years. Then Lonsky says, You know what? Write a receipt that you undertake to grow by 8 centimeters per year, and you will grow up, and how can you not grow if you gave a word? Arriving home after talking with the coach, I did so. He wrote the following commitment. I, Rustam Akhmetov, undertake to grow by 8 centimeters within a year. I swear to achieve this with all my might. And in a most prominent place he hung. It should be said that the opportunity to grow in me instilled faith. I gave my word to the coach, and the authority of Lansky was indisputable for all of us. If he said, then it will be so. Here is one example. Once Lansky took me to his home, and he has a large garden and a lot of black currants. He led me to a bush and said, eat. These are vitamins. For an athlete, this is very useful, but you have to thoroughly eat the bush. Without this, do not come to my section anymore. He went into the house, and I went to the bush, such a huge bush, all covered in berries. 40 minutes later, Lansky came up and found me in a half-faint state, and despite this, I, without even thinking anything, still pushed the currants into my mouth. He was even frightened and said, "What are you? How can that be? I've joked." Since then, I have currants and do not eat anymore. So believe me, when I wrote the receipt, I was convinced that I had to grow. Yes, and the receipt itself gave me the key to knowing how to grow. I was looking for material in libraries. I was interested in experienced people. In general, I collected information and summarized. Having learned that jumping annoys growth zones, I began to jump first 100 and then 200 times a day. Wherever I am and no matter what I do, I jumped. On the way to the music school, I tried to get all the leaves on the trees. I didn't walk calmly at breaks. As soon as the bell rings and I'm on the street, jump, stretch, and jump again. If the daily norm is 200 jumps, I did not have time to complete it. I jumped at night. And so as not to be afraid to go out, I asked my mom or sister to go out with me. Regularly on a special system, slept stretched with rubber bands. Hanging on the Swedish wall in the crossbar, playing basketball, swimming in the pool. After all, the whole breast is stretched out. In the pool, I came up with a lot of exercises aimed at increasing growth. Waking up in the morning, he never abruptly jumped up and lay for several minutes doing sipping exercises. Then he knocked on the wall of the neighbor Aunt Nona, who came to us and, along with my mother, pulled me by the legs. There was a laugh. They pull, and the bed moves around the room. I visited the homeland of my parents, near Kazan. There I was interested in what popular beliefs, legends are about how to grow. After all, the problem of growth worried my ancestors. Here's one of the favorite exercises that I used in my system. Its essence is that if a person wants to grow up, it is necessary to lie on his back and stretch very much. And at this time, someone from very close people whom you love or whom you trust, mother, father, brother, sister, etc. They should stroke the fingertips in the area of the solar plexus clockwise, and at the same time sentence the following sounds: VC, 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 grow, 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 Tatar. Usually, my mother stroked me. This exercise is pleasant. After its implementation, I felt that my growth was increasing, and one more exercise of our ancestors. To do this, you need to use a slide or other elevation. Such a slide was near my house. I climbed up, lay on my back, stretching out, and rolled down. At the same time, I imagined that I was stretching like a doe. In my cultivation, I paid a lot of attention to such an important detail as nutrition. What I just didn't eat. I drank fish oil, carrot juice, and various dairy products, and a variety of vegetables and fruits. In a word, all that contains a lot of vitamin A, which helps increase growth. So gradually, I developed my own system, which included my favorite exercises and complexes.